and welcome back. This is the 8th episode of the Digital Binder Project. If this is your first time tuning in, go back and watch all the other previous episodes because we've already covered an insane amount of insane cards. Um, this is a narrated digital binder walkthrough. If you want the experience of looking through a Magic Gathering binder and being told all the details about all the cards, this is the place to come check it out. So be sure to hit like, subscribe, all the YouTube jazz, so that the channel becomes popular and that you stay informed. So let's go ahead and keep going. We last left off on this amazing page of albinos. I really love this completed page. It looks so cool. Well, what follows it next are blue binos. Each one of these is missing all of the colors except for blue and black. And this is what you get. Now, this is a known uh, error that happens on the back of these homelands cards. If you want to see what the homelands cards on the front are, this is what we have. They're just really beautiful to look at. They're very easy to mistake for sun bleached, but um, the easiest way for me to tell you how to identify a sun bleach versus a blue bino is unfortunately having the cards in your hand. When you have the cards in your hand, there's actually a very tactile difference between a card that's been sitting in the sun as opposed to a card that has lack of ink as a factory defect. Um, when you just have them in hand, they feel right. You know, that it's difficult to describe. There are more detailed ways, which I might have covered on my website. At least I plan to in greater depth at one point. So that's enough for these blue binos. Let's keep going. This here is a page of shifted foils. Every one of these has the text layer out of focus for my camera. Come on. There we go. So the text layer has been shifted down. On this one, there's a little bit of border shift, frame shift. Um, each one of these um, has the text shifted. I don't know why this camera just doesn't like focusing. There we go. So it actually happened vertically and horizontally. And this is just a full page of those types of errors across multiple different sets. I tried to collect the range of sets that things happen from. Um, this particular error, these are most of the examples from it, but there's a few other sheets of it that exist out there. Before we go, I want to show off this lava axe because it's sweet. Look at that. Just the frame on this one is shifted. The text is in the correct place, but you can see here because of that shift, our sorcery looks like it's out of place. Excuse me. Well, let's keep going. This here is my page of really weirdly cut cards. Up here in the top left corner, it looks blank, but it's not. I've actually got a super, super tiny piece of a card. It's actually got a crimp on it, which helps verify authenticity. We also just believe the person who opened it. Now, with oddly cut cards, it's really important to have like physically distinguishable proof on it that it's a factory error. So this one, you've got this weird, crazy corner cut right down here. But the thing that we know that makes this factory is the square corner at the top. And that's really important to have on these types of errors. Otherwise, you know, what's to distinguish someone taking a normal magic card and just chopping it up? Here's a really good example. Really cool miscut card, but without the sheet, you can't replicate this. So there is a very, very low possibility that this is NFC. We don't believe any sheets of Homelands have gotten out there. But, you know, if we learn that later in the future, maybe it did, there's possibility of cards like this being faked. But I can say at the moment, sheet cutters are not attempting to replicate that to our knowledge. That would be pretty nefarious, pretty terrible behavior. And at least the ones that are involved in Magic have some standards, at the very least. So yeah, this is my page of weirdly cut cards and my odd tangent about NFC, which I feel like I could bring up at any point. Here we have a page full of ghost printings. Every one of these cards has either another card or the same card or something entirely different printed on top of it. The easiest one to show off is this tireless tracker here with a magic back printed ghosted on the front. Now this one is probably my favorite one on the page. See if we can get it focusing at all. So if you look at the sun there, you can actually start to see very faintly some text. It's a lot more readable in person. It's actually uh, disclaimer information for a medication called Ucerif, which is a gout medication, I believe. Trying to show off all the stuff that may or may not show on camera. So if you look in the text box here, maybe if I, you can start to see the text for another card. This Loyal Cathar has a couple more Loyal Cathars printed on it. It's difficult to see, but this one was actually somewhat commonish from Avacyn, so we wouldn't be surprised if you guys have copies of those out there too. Now this page isn't just not in focus, it's also super blurry whenever you look at it. All of these are double prints and registration errors of various quality and degree. There we go, that shows up pretty nice. Now this one actually is really cool, has a normal back. So that one's got all sorts of coolness going on. It's double printed, got the miscut on the front and normal back. And every single card in this page, just various degrees of registration error or double printing. Now, while I am showing off all these really cool cards digitally, every single misprint I'm showing looks better in person. So if you ever have the chance to meet me and want to look through this collection, I highly urge you to come to one of the misprint cons. Ooh, this page here. This could be the last page of this video. This is actually a page of alpha cut, miscut 4th edition connectors. That's right. There are two separate errors going on here. We have alpha cut corners and miscut connectors. That's not where that one goes. I forget where the heel. Now, I don't have all the cards in this set. These are just the ones that were found at my local gaming store, and I purchased these just as a set of connecting 4th edition miscuts. It wasn't until maybe a couple years later that I actually realized that they were all alpha cut, and my jaw hit the floor when I realized that. This page is never, ever, ever going anywhere. No cards will ever be for sale on this. This is such a cool and rare find, and the fact that I got it from my local gaming store is even more incredible. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for episode 9, and I'll see you next time.